Alright, here is round 3 of the Newcomers Tournament.
Once again, ice map. Alright.
There's some almost scientific founds.
Yeah, in the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw. There's
Oh,
nukes once more. Not gonna be useful, really.
another good set of carbon near water and silicon, but again, you have to worry about the nukes.
Lots of iron.
An expansive HQ has been
It's,
founded. An expansive
that's a
HQ has been
reasonable spot
founded.
for an
A
expansive.
scavenger HQ has been founded.
It's maybe not ideal.
Alright, let's see where Death Thrower is gonna found.
Because the found could have been either closer to the aluminum or closer to the good iron. Either one could have been connected more easily. Instead, it's a bit in the middle. So maybe transitioning around would be a little harder later, but it's still near enough stuff. Death Thrower, near water and iron, which is fine.
Aluminum's a bit away, but not too.
Lot 5 did take a nice scavenger location.
Revolting Peasant playing the one-on-one. One aluminum, one steel, one iron.
111 is a bit of a slower start generally, but he did get up to 2 before.
Anyone, really?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, before bot.
The black market is online.
Bot moving into reactors on HQ2 with fuel starting double, that makes some sense.
Could have gone to chemicals.
Yeah. They're about the same as reactors. And it does avoid the situation where fuel climbs rapidly if you go into chems. One thing about Bot's found is that I think he crushed some of the carbon down here. Like, maybe could have left some more carbon to transition into if he gets nuked.
Yeah, there definitely was a lot more carbon than that.
Yeah. Because,
So
I mean,
if he does get nuked,
he does still have carbon to move into, but it's just not going to have the adjacency possibilities with his original carbon that the rest of the carbon would have had. Death Thrower claiming a Geo on HQ2. Interesting. He's also in reactors already without having any water. Which is, I mean, the reactors are doing well for him right now, but water is climbing pretty quickly. And especially since he's getting this geotherm up, his upgrade to HQ3 might take a while. So these reactors are probably going to get bad before he can really start getting into water. It's a bit of an awkward move. Though he can just transition to ice, I guess.
Oh, Peasant's also into another geo.
New land is available for auction.
Revolting Peasant also in that HQ2. Oh, 2 geos for Death Thrower.
An expansive HQ has been upgraded.
Meanwhile,
Bit
Bot.
questionable.
Yeah. I mean, you can get away with it a bit more easily because he's expansive, but it's still pretty slow. And he does, well, he only has 17k debt, so maybe he can pay through it, but it's risky for sure, especially since neither is gooned. Where is the goon?
The goon is on Revolting Peasants.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the only thing purchased on the black market currently.
Right, so if Revolting Peasant spots that he is the only goon, he can really get some work done with all these geos coming up and mutinies available. Bot 5 actually never got into power. He is a scavenger, so he can maybe get away with that a bit more, but
It won't produce him a lot. really.
Also, single farm, single glass up here. Not really what you're looking for.
Yeah, you never want to go single at all. At least 2.
Especially since he committed to the second water pump, he could have pretty easily moved into 2 farms, and those would be doing great work.
Definitely. High food. But then again, there's some decent glass coming in.
Alright, he did also pick up silicon, so there is that.
While Boz finish upgrading, let's see if he gets more into farms.
Going into chems.
HQ has been
And
upgraded.
chems are a good choice, just...
Okay, getting that second farm. He still doesn't seem to be producing power. Oh, there he goes.
I mean, at this point I might almost be tempted not to produce power. Getting 1 geo is probably fine. And just because there are already, what, 5, 6 geos up established?
Yeah, and 2 solar panels from Revolting Peasants.
Yeah, so by the time this geo's actually done, power's gonna be worth very little.
Or worth none, really.
Mm-hmm.
Crashing rapidly.
I mean, especially since a bot is a scavenger, you can maybe try to work around just aggressive mutinies on these geos instead of establishing his own power.
Well, it seems Death Throw was making a bit of that power money.
Yep, he made a play for that early, and he is getting the money, but it's not a ton of money. He only has this, 30k cash plus resources. He can almost push to HQ4. Well, I guess it did pay off to some extent, but he is still running a bit behind bot.
Congratulations.
Which, I mean, an expansive scavenger, it's not
Yeah, Bob
shocking.
just got EMP'd by Death Thrower. Great choice to fight him, seeing that he's a bigger threat so far.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Terror EMP'd Revolting Peasants water,
An expansive HQ has been upgraded.
making sure he doesn't get the boost.
Yeah, I guess that works out pretty nicely, canceling out the solar flare profits. Which, even though prices weren't that high for water or power, these tiles with solar flare are just so ridiculous. Anyway, we have Death Thrower and Terror up to HQ4 now. Should start seeing moves to try to get something done in the late game. Not sure what they're going to be.
The black market is open for business.
With 3 expansive and a scavenger, I'm interested to see if anyone's going to throw down a pleasure dome. That'll be amazing.
200 a second. That's very good.
And especially since we have all these geotherms established, we know power's going to stay stable.
Yep, and along with that perpetual motion. Alright, so Ba and Terror are now in C debt.
And no power to pay off debt, so they're going to have to find ways to make money and try to keep that debt under control. I am a bit concerned about the way Terror claimed his water.
The black market is online.
Yep, and he's now in D debt. I guess he only claimed that high water just to prevent from Death having it.
I suppose so. But then, I mean,
There's dry ice in the map. I mean, not dry ice, ice in the map.
right, with water ice you can really avoid taking all those extra claims, especially with these nukes. We finally did get 1 nuke purchased. I was about to say earlier that there were no nukes purchased.
How could one refuse such a wonderful plot of land?
A bit disappointing no one's still nuking bots. Carbon.
Yeah, bots carbon, bots aluminum, those were some pretty vulnerable early targets that could have really slowed bot down. But bot isn't running away with things. In fact, I would probably have Death Thrower being the one in the lead. He doesn't have this debt problem, and he has comparable cash.
It would have been nice if he gone for a silicon quarry instead of that third glass.
Hmm. Yeah, this glass triangle is going to become a problem pretty quickly without silicon to support it. And Bot does have the only silicon claim right now, so...
He is pretty much making the profit out of it. He has 200 silicon.
Doing a good job of holding on to that instead of selling out. Oh, and Bot's actually building an off-world. Oh, our off-worlds. Food is pretty darn strong right now. And I'm not sure anyone actually spots his hologrammed off-world. Though he does have this goon saved up that he really needs to be putting down on there.
Definitely. Maybe he just doesn't want to. Just for other players not to make sure, oh, that's a structure that I should be paying attention to.
Hmm.
But then again, there are spies available, so they can just hit it.
And at the very least, Bot really needs to be picking up a defensive mutiny. 'Cause if he's not going to be putting down the goon, then that's something you can at least protect against part of potential damage. Though, of course, if someone drops an EMP on it, there's nothing you can counter that with. Ooh.
Meanwhile, electronics are up for terror. Using more silicon, driving the price even higher. Oh, Bot was sold some.
Okay, Death Thrower started attacking, so he had to sell out to defend himself, but with this off-world launch, he'll be plenty fine. Okay, Death Thrower is selling out, otherwise the turnaround would have been a big problem, but he'll defend himself. Bot is still in a pretty dominant position now because this off-world's going unnoticed.
I hope everyone starts realizing there are spies and he starts using it on him.
Well, there's only been one spy bot so far.
I'm still questioning on his one chemical and that one glass he has.
Oh yeah, definitely. Those are just not great choices.
Definitely. Change the glass to a patent and maybe get carbon scrapping.
It's something along those lines. Could
Or you could have gotten thinking missions and put the off-world around it.
Congratulations.
and this is why that spot should. Well, I guess not having it
Nice.
gooned, I guess, makes it harder to detect, but
once again with the spies, they should perfectly see it. Especially since all his buildings are clustered up.
well, but no one's using them, so. See, patents taken. So far, Revolting Peasant has taken teleportation. No one else has really taken much of anything. Revolting Peasant's patent lab has been sitting idle since teleportation. Oh. I assume he grabbed teleportation to grab silicon. Something nice happened for him in this tile auction.
Well, Bot has a gooned empty title.
The black
And now it's hologrammed. He's going to put a second off-world up there. Still leaving his first off-world undefended.
Oh,
Actually not
it
sure.
seems He bought a spy.
Yep. Not sure I actually like the decision to go for a second off-world right now. Because carbon is so expensive, glass is really expensive, electronics are really expensive, so that 130k into the off-world could pretty easily go for a majority buy on Volting Peasant or something like that. Or just to, I don't know, keep debt under control a little more. And move into some optimization instead, try to knock carbon and stuff down a bit more before pushing for a second off-world.
Well, Terra is consuming a lot of carbon. It goes to electronics.
Yep.
pilots
Electronics colony though, so they're still making money. It's not all that much. No move.
And is using chemicals. There's no carbon again.
No one moving into carbon scrubbing yet either. Well, okay, Revolting Peasant is. That's a good move by him, but he's still kind of just been stuck behind this whole time. He's never really developed much cash. He's just been stuck on HQ4, not defended himself.
Oh, with carbon scrubbing, you can sell down, find a little carbon, get into chemicals or electronics.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff he can move into once he secures
Yeah,
this.
it can help him catch up.
Not sure if it'll be enough, but it's definitely a start. Death Thrower has picked up Thinking Machines, Financial Instruments, both strong choices. Two opponents in C debt. Although...
someone pirated Bots 5 Water.
The black market is online.
Definitely a bad choice. Could have gone for the silicon.
Right. Man, that's just straight on top of the water. It wasn't even just misplaced. I have to wonder about that one. Oh, someone has noticed that off-world.
Is Death going to... No, not Death. Is Bot 5 going to respond to that?
He's Death Thrower, okay. It would be interesting to see Death Thrower put his goon down on that off-world, but interesting and correct or different. Bot 5 has been spying really aggressively on Death Thrower, which makes sense. He's definitely established himself as the biggest threat with all these patents and just a strong overall position.
Definitely should have been buying those spies before he did.
Mm-hmm.
Black market is online.
But I just don't see a way for other people to claw back into this one. Bot 5 has these two gooned off-worlds.
Well, there are network viruses available.
True, true. Especially since one of the off-worlds has already been spotted. Maybe if Death Thrower can knock that down, other people might take notice and help out, but...
And Death Thrower is building finally an off-world, but not protected. Yep. And Bot 5 finally notices.
Did you think we would be so easy to hoodwink? Hard to come by.
I actually wonder about that. Picked up a 30k goon for that off-world after the first goon was popped. I feel like
Definitely.
that's probably a bit of a mistake with, especially since he just passed the network virus back to Bot 5, you can expect that to come right back. If you wait until, I don't know,
Congratulations.
it feels like just 30k that's gonna go away pretty quickly for no real
Yep.
gain.
And the fact that network viruses are very cheap.
Mm-hmm. I mean, could maybe pick up a mutiny instead, just to defend against potential mutiny. Again, would protect you against the EMP, but with thinking machines you can live with that, I think. But Bot 5 almost has the cash to finish the buy. And once he gets that buy, that's going to be a lot of off-worlds to no off-worlds.
No one else has off-worlds at the moment.
What this
Meanwhile, Revolting Peasant could start building one.
and we'll
Oh, and there it goes.
Yep. He is making good use of carbon scrubbing, chems and electronics down, upgrading chems and electronics.
Definitely should be selling chems and electronics into their matches into it.
Just unfortunate that he was a little slow to make these moves. He's held back for various reasons. Otherwise, he might be in a more competitive position.
The bot is very, very close to buying death right now.
Yep.
5% away.
Kind of got a little favor by a Death Thrower buying up all that stock. Now he gets it back. Before he would have just had 4 undefended stock finishing the buy. But I mean, that's something Death Thrower has to do, more or less, so just the way it works out. Now, this is a bit of a mistake, getting into this mutiny fight over this off-world when you're this close to the buy.
Yeah, could have quickly at least launched an EMP and paused them.
I mean, if you just leave the off-world alone, it's going to be yours in a few seconds anyway, so that's just a lot of cash. No real gain. But yeah, at this point bot 5 has a very solid lead. It's hard to see someone coming back. But Revolting Peasants making a play of it, 2 off-worlds, well, second off-world constructing. And he does have the strong long-term production. Unfortunately, black market has gotten pretty expensive, so that's not going to be a great tool to claw back in.
EMPs are still available at a decent margin.
True. I don't know if Revolting Peasant ever spotted the off-worlds.
He has to even put a spy.
Oh, maybe, no, that was Terror dropping the EMP. Not really dropping it on the right tile, which indicates he doesn't know about the off-world.
The black market is open for business.
Bot 5's actually also done a pretty good job of trying to ride the line between C and D. He hasn't let his debt really get out of control, which is one of the few things that could maybe sink him.
Well, I'm waiting for that tick to go off.
Lesson is in order.
And
Ooh, he's gonna get into this interstick with D.
yeah, 45,000.
Maybe a bit of a lapse of attention, or maybe something else.
I hate those filthy
If
bandits.
Deathrow was still alive, that'd be finally useful.
Actually, Death Row does still get the financial instruments revenue. So it's an interesting little thing where
It
that...
would be nice if he was alive, though.
Right, but now because Bot 5 has such a large interest stick, he's getting extra money from the sub. Which is kind of funny, but...
Kind of funny, because yeah, he does have a lot of insane debt. Alright, so Revolting Peasant's finally protecting himself.
Right. He's actually starting to attack Bot 5, but that's just a lot of
Successful
stock price to
A lot of
overcome.
money.
Make room
He's
for
a
the
mil
profits.
and 3. 1.3 mil.
Right, even after the buy, Bot 5 still has comparable cash. His target's just so much lower.
He has a mutiny still. EMP still seems to be nice. He has 2 network viruses that could help him out finding off-world. If not, use the spy.
Money.
Right. Bit unfortunate that he hasn't tried to use them yet.
Definitely. Sad to see no one nuked Bots 5 Silicon.
Yeah, Bot was really allowed to get away with a lot of...
And he's hacking it at the moment.
Launch affirmative. What a payout.
Right. I guess Bot's aluminum eventually got nuked, but his
That was
carbon's
it, right?
intact, his off-world was
Methods could
vulnerable for so long. Just made a lot of aggressive plays that paid off for him, but could have been very dangerous.
A bit disappointing no one else used a single spy.
Yeah, I mean, spies are easy to forget about, and when they're 20k, maybe you don't want to spend that just trying to gamble on finding something.
Well, it seems Revolting Peasant finally found those two off-worlds.
I think what happened was he dropped the EMP, he saw this was gooned, is like, this, but he probably still doesn't know about the other off-world.
The one that's not good in the first place. Water is very high, so food.
Make room for the profits.
That it is. And the viruses, even though they're actually meant to find the off-world, they're actually doing a good job of, they were doing a good job of keeping the reactors online, despite being unprofitable before. Anyway,
Anyway,
so bot 5 made a series of aggressive moves that paid off. Revolting Peasant
definitely.
he tried to make a nice comeback. He had a lot of good production later on. He picked up some important patents, but he just fell too far behind to really complete the comeback.
I mean, at the same time, spies were extremely cheap. Could have
Yeah.
revealed the off-world for everyone else.
If there was more concerted, more of a concerted effort by the other three to shut down Bot 5, if they really spotted his off-worlds, there was a lot of room for Death Thrower or Revolting Peasant to really come back and win the game, but
Definitely.
Didn't
It
happen.
seems no one paid attention to the black market really with spies.
yep. Yeah, I mean, we see this game really neatly summed up by this 1.3 million off-world for Bot 5.
Yep. Let us see who used black market most.
So